Hey guys, it's Julian, and today I'm going to be talking to you about why sample packs don't matter and why I feel that it's come a long way and things have really changed over the past few years. Now, before we get started, I want to let you guys know you can grab all my sample packs right at the top of the description. They're all just $5 or $10. It really helps support me. If you guys enjoy these videos, you know, I put a lot of time into these samples and I feel that they are some of the best sample packs with the highest quality kicks, hi-hats, claps, like literally all of those sounds. Some of the best ones on the market are available right at the top of the description for just $5 or $10. You know, everything is very accessible to get to some really high quality sounds here. Again, like, I really appreciate all the support, guys. I don't make a whole lot just off of YouTube, but with these sample packs, I'm able to keep going. Plus, like I said, it's some of the best production resources on the market right now. You know, I really pride myself on making really high quality stuff that you can actually use. I feel like a lot of these sample packs out here are just kind of like toys, but these are things that are very fun to play with in that same way, but actually functional as well, and just very, very high quality, full sounds. Link is at the top of the description, and yeah, let's dive into the video. So, like I was saying, you know, I think things have really shifted in the past few years about sample packs and about how people feel about all this kind of stuff in general. And to give you a little bit of background on it, when I first started producing back in like 2012, 2013, that was really the era where people were like, you know, I synthesized this kick myself with a synth that I made, and I wired the modules in. Like, they were taking a lot of pride in like really going in and making sounds themselves, you know, not using sample packs, you know, synthesizing all your drums in Serum, like all that kind of stuff. And it's like, that was definitely a thing. And that definitely is a thing that we can do, like, as a culture of musicians. Like, sure, if we want to act like that, act like it's so important to synthesize every kick from scratch, that's one thing. The problem is, a lot of that music, when you listen to it now, it sounds like that, right? Like, it sounds like they're using some type of, like, whether it's like a Serum or Massive or whatever it was back in the day, it really sounds like they're using, you know, a Serum kick. Like, it doesn't sound like a good kick. And I think a lot of times back then, you know, people were kind of like foregoing the quality of their music for the sake of just saying that they used a kick that they made themselves with a synth. Or maybe if it wasn't synthesized kicks, you know, I think something popular back then was like synthesizing the low end of the kick and then sampling the high end, or maybe like layering samples together with like very excessive multi-band EQ and compression rigs. And it's like, again, you can do that if you want to, but like, at the end of the day, like, the listener really doesn't notice that stuff, in my opinion. Like, to me, like, even as somebody who knows what I'm doing, I would rather hear a track where it's like, wow, you know, this is a really good, like, say, 909 hi-hat. Like, this is a really good 909 hi-hat. I know it's that. I know they didn't sample it or make it from scratch themselves with Serum, but it's just a really good 909 hi-hat. You know, I would rather have that than, okay, cool, here's this, like, weird, boring white noise sound they made because they didn't want to just use the 909 hi-hat. And that's really what it comes down to, you know? If it sounds good, it is good. And a lot of this stuff, like, you can't just say, oh, well, you have to make it from scratch, because the truth is, certain sounds you just can't make from scratch. Like, kicks, like a techno kick, you're not going to be able to make that in a synth. Like, that just isn't going to have that same kind of impact that you're going to get from like a sampled kick, or from a kick that's maybe like was a 909 at one point and then someone saturated it and then someone else sampled that and then layered that, and like, you just can't get that same thing just trying to like synthesize stuff from scratch. Or again, maybe it's not just that, but maybe like, you know, trying to take like a kick straight out of a 909 and then immediately bring it in to like a modern, like, you know, 1605 style techno track. It's like, it doesn't really work that way. And I think like we need to kind of evolve and kind of see it as something different than just you're cheating, you're using sample packs. Because again, like, I think over the past few years we've really come to appreciate that fidelity and that idea that if it sounds good, it is good, rather than just trying to say, well, everything's made from scratch just for the pride of that. And so, yeah, I think that's really important, like, just understanding that like, a lot of times sample packs just give you something that you're not going to be able to make by yourself. And this really goes for loops, too, you know? Like, a lot of times, like, when I make like these tech house videos, like the tech house video that dropped yesterday, for example, like I'll go and I'll sit there and program everything by hand. But like the truth is, because I want to show you guys what's going on, but the truth is like 90% of house producers just go in, they find like a really cool percussion loop that has either some live stuff going on or has like a combination of live stuff and maybe like a little like house loop underneath it or something like that. And then they layer their drums on top of that. And there's nothing wrong with that, you know? It's like kind of like just giving yourself a little bit of a vibe or a little bit of a feel, you know? It's like if you just sit in front of a blank screen with operator and serum and analog forever, like you're not gonna make anything, right? And if you're using a sample pack, you know, maybe you could still make your own bass, your own kick, your own like main sounds, your own leads and that kind of stuff. But maybe that extra percussion loop, like, you know, you might just be scrolling through the sample pack and you hear percussion loop 4 and it might not be anything you could have ever imagined wanting, but it's amazing and you really want to use it. You know, that I think is the beauty right there, and that's something that you're not going to get if you just try to be hard-headed and say, okay, I have my modular synth and my 909 and I just generate textures out of that. Like, you're not, and that's a whole world of its own. I'm not saying anything bad about that, but I'm just saying, like, you're not getting this random inspiration. And ultimately, in music, a lot of the times, even when you're working with that kind of gear, happy accidents are what you want, you know? Because we don't always know what's going to sound the best. And if we try to go into it with, like, an idea of making exactly what we have in our heads, I talk about this so much on this channel, you're really not going to be able to make what you want in your head. Like, you're never going to get, it's always going to not quite be as good as you heard it in your head. But if you shoot for random inspiration and just scroll through sample packs and find a loop that inspires you, you know, again, although, okay, I guess you're using a loop or whatever, but like, nothing really wrong with that, you know? And there's nothing that says, like, when, like, okay, let's say you buy a track on Beatport. It's not like you get, like, a confirmation that says, okay, every single sample in here was synthesized from scratch by this person. Like, no one cares about that. Like, even most DJs, like, don't even really get what's going on there, you know? So, like, you really just gotta understand that, like, as producers, and especially if you're as locked into producing as I am, and you're just constantly in this world, and every single day hearing people talk about it, it might seem like such a bad, heinous thing, but at the end of the day, like, dude, it just really isn't. And I've talked about this a little bit before too, but have you ever been in a club listening to like a really good track, and then like someone just goes, oh, I can't dance to this, they used a percussion loop from a sample pack? Like, that never happens. Like, that's not going to be a problem. Like, if anything, the sample pack is going to make people dance to your track more because it's probably got some really solid stuff in that loop that you wouldn't have gotten if you just were hard-headed and said, oh, I have to make everything myself and all that. Like, there's no award for that. And, like, you know, at the end of the day, it also comes down to, like, saving your time, too. You know, you don't really want to just do everything in the most time-consuming way possible, because then when it comes time to do the things that matter, like arrange your track and actually like kind of getting it to be a finished track, you're going to be so sick of it because you were just, you know, you just spent 10 days layering your kick sample from scratch. Like, don't do that. Don't do that. Like, just get started with what works for you quickly and kind of move forward. And the thing is, if you're really set in your ways of like, okay, can't have loops whatsoever, well, you could always just start with a loop, get some inspiration, and just listen to it really closely. Like, a lot of times, that's honestly what I do. Like, when you see in my videos, like, these really complex little, like, percussion sequences, a lot of times it's because what I did was I got a loop and listened to the groove of that and kind of listened, okay, there's, like, these many hi-hats happening, or there's these many percussions, or these many shakers, and then I just go and do that in my own way. So it's like, you can always do that, too. But it just really helps as like a reference and just kind of giving you like a really solid start. And yeah, so that is a pretty comprehensive list of reasons why I think using sample packs, really, it just doesn't matter anymore. Especially like as the floodgates have opened, as sample packs have gotten a lot higher quality, and also just as there's so many sample packs out there too. Like, you know, back in the day, if there was one really good sample pack for say like burial style music, right? Like, I would have been on that, everybody would have hopped on that, it would have been in like every single track. But nowadays, there's like 50 million of those, and some of them are good, some of them are bad, some of them are kind of mid, so like, you know, there's just such, like, no one is ever going to hear every single sample pack that's out there, right? And like, it just, yeah, it's so different now, and I just wanted to make a video highlighting that. So yeah, that's going to be it for this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed. As always, make sure to like this video as well as subscribe. And let me know what you think of this video in the comments. Like I said in the beginning, you can get all my sample packs right at the top of the description. They're all just like $5, $10, $15, $20. Not too expensive. It's a very accessible way to get some of the most high quality sounds on the market right now. Again, I put a ton of time into all of these sounds on there. I love every single individual sound. They're all like super high quality, and it's really accessible. So I really appreciate all the support, guys. Not only do you get some great sample packs, but it also helps keep me going so I can keep bringing you guys new videos every single day. And yeah, thank you so much for the support, everybody, and I will see you tomorrow with another video.